In this video, I'm going to talk about the number one topic that causes traders to be unprofitable. And it's by far, definitely the fear of losing. I've talking so far in the last 30 days, I've had, I think, 73 calls with traders who aren't quite profitable yet. When talking with these traders, the common thing that I've noticed was just simply they all have struggle dealing with the fear of losing, and they trade in a fear-based mindset, as Mark Douglas was saying. So in this video, I'm gonna share my personal experience with the fear of losing and give some tips and tricks that hopefully help give you an idea of how to not completely get rid of the fear of losing, but make peace with it. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now, when it comes to the fear of losing, usually it's a belief that you have around losing. A lot of us tend to view it as bad. We don't tend to view it as a normal thing. We view it as like an anomaly that's gonna destroy the multiverse. We always are so negative, and it's really because most of the times when we lose dollar amount. And it's really how we view our relationship with it. So for example, for me, I've dealt with the fear of losing, and I'm gonna share my personal experience. I remember a couple of months ago, I think it may be 8 or 9 now, I really had a really bad fear with losing for 2 reasons. One, I thought like losing trades meant that I was wrong, and if I keep being wrong as a trader, then I'm going to be a failure. The number one reason was because I was just tying my self-worth to my outcomes of my trades. And then the second thing is I had very unrealistic expectations, and it made it really hard for me to make peace with losing. And I remember this day I was going to work and I entered the trade like I was in it. So it was like a paper trade, but nothing was on the line, no money, anything like that. All I did was put my long position on TradingView, play it out like I was in it, but I really wasn't in it, so I wasn't gonna lose any money. And I noticed that when the trade started moving against me, I started feeling the same feeling that I was when I'm in a live trade. Anxious. Like there's nothing on the line, why do I feel anxious? And then I had to really sit down and kind of, put on my self-awareness goggles. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'm afraid of being wrong because I've been wrong so many times in trading, and it's the reason why I'm in the position where I am now. That's the belief I had at the moment. And at the time, my fear of losing wasn't from the fear of losing money, but it was from the fear of being wrong. Because at the time, every time I lost a trade, it meant that I was gonna lose some confidence. And that's the main thing that I was afraid of losing. I was afraid of losing all confidence in myself while trading, because then that means, well, I'm pretty much gonna quit. The first thing that I had to do was kind of redefine my belief. So at the time, I believed that losing meant you was a failure. I had to change it to, it's not the outcome that determines your self-worth, whether you're a success or failure, it is the actions. And I had to do that by, one, repeating that to myself a couple of times, but that didn't work as much as gathering evidence on it did. So once I had to kind of replace that belief, then I really focused on gathering evidence on that belief. For example, I focused on following my trading plan 100% of the time to kind of see where it would take. And from then, while backtesting, following my trading plan, I noticed that, hey, listen, doing the right actions is gonna lead to the results that you want. So that kind of helped reinforce that belief for me, but it wasn't quite over yet because I had unmet expectations. These expectations came from me watching certain YouTubers just kind of flaunt their wins, and it set another belief that was just like, hey, listen, you need to win more than you lose in order to be profitable in trading. And that also wasn't true. So I say this to say all that. If you're dealing with the fear of losing, the first thing that you should do is identify what belief kind of is fueling your perception that losing and trading is bad, and then replace it with a new belief that will help you interpret losing in a different manner. For example, what I kind of did. A common suggestion I recommend is just view trading as business. In business, you have your expenses, you have your profits, and you have your expenses. You don't get mad when you're starting a lawn care business. You don't get mad having to buy a lawnmower, do you? I mean, if you do, then you probably shouldn't be starting a lawn care business, but you don't really get mad about it. You just understand that that's the expense I had to pay in order to start making money. And it should be the exact same way in trading. But we can't really do that because we don't know how to think in probabilities. And that's the second thing too. Learning how to think in probabilities is big. So what thinking in probabilities is, instead of worrying about the outcome of each and every trade, you shift your worrying to what is the result going to be in 20 trades. thus not letting you care too much about what's going on in the middle. So to quickly summarize, if you're dealing with the fear of losing in trading, I recommend doing these two things. First things first, redefine what losing means to you. Change your definition of losing in trading. Change it to every losing trade is just an expense that I have to pay in order to find out when my next winning trade is going to be. And then the second thing, learn how to think in probabilities. Mark Douglas has a lot of work on it, but if you want a simple summary of it, just shift your worrying from what is the result going to be on this trade to don't really care if this trade is going to be a winner or a loser. I want to know what the result is going to be in 20 trades. That's an example of learning how to think in probabilities. Now, how to practice thinking in probabilities is just simply backtesting. So, you have your strategy, all of that, you backtest it, but the goal is to get through 20 trades, not really caring about what the results is. And every time you take a trade, you're kind of practicing, not really focused on what the result of this trade is going to be. I want to know what my results in 20 trades is going to be. And you keep practicing over and over and over until you learn how to think in probabilities that is secondhand nature to you. But I hope this short video helped someone. I hope it gave some wisdom, some advice. If you have any feedback, tips, anything like that, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. And until next time.